Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
All right. Well, this show sucks. Show, whatever. Good morning to those who are dropping in. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet. Very solemn day because I can't get this damn thing to work. And, but you know what? It is what it is. One of these days, Alice, I will figure it out. Anyway, I do want to acknowledge one person on YouTube, who may or may not show up. That'd be our friend Kara Soldier. Kara Soldier, you get the bell for the first of 4 attempts at this morning. This really blows. Start looking hard at the quality of my connection. You know, my connection, however, well, let's see. Well, I am. I just had stuff refresh on my computer again. And now it says Brave not responding. I don't know if it's the connection. It says the connection is excellent. I haven't been having any oh, there it goes again. No, it says I'm there. It says I'm here. Okay, never mind. It says no data, but it still says green. This is very frustrating. Hello, by the way, Avocados Diablo, middle-aged monster, if you're still here. Looks like it's still running. I can't tell because I can't get to, oh, Jesus Christ. Whew, I am flustered and not happy. But anyway, hello, by the way, TC, Somnambule Nation, Eon, and Amazing Disgrace, who've made it back. I don't know who else has made it back. Could be just you four. Now it says oh my gosh, it says the bit rate is too low when I have it set at about 6,000. This is 6,800 it needs. Anyway, we'll see where we get here. I was going to go through some news today. The main thing that I've been talking about for the last couple of days is the fact that the Emperor's new Emperor has no clothes. We've been watching Democrats tell us for months and months that, oh my gosh, the deep fakes and all this other stuff. Cheap fakes of Joe Biden and his mumbling, stumbling, bumbling. And, it's obviously we discovered it was real last week when we watched that debate. And following the debate, there have been a lot of pundits immediately following the debate talking about replacing Joe Biden. And apparently the White House talking points came out not much later, saying that no, Joe Biden's going to keep running. His family, they had a meeting with the family, he's going to keep running, blah blah blah. But I don't think they're convincing the donors. Okay, I was going to talk more about I had a bunch of other stuff on the agenda. I have tabs open for all kinds of stuff, by the way. I'm not going to do any of it other than talk about the last few days regarding Biden, the debate, the SCOTUS ruling on immunity for Trump. So everything that I was going to talk about in the show has changed. Not changed, but I'm diminishing it down to just this small portion because I do not have I don't have enough time, thanks to whatever this is going on with my computer glitches. Good morning, Justin Wright and Jaeger Pony, by the way. Morning from Richard Center today. Summer has sucked so far. Oh, I'm sorry that the summer sucked, Justin. I can relate a little bit because living in Minnesota where we've had so much rain that there's flooding everywhere. They've even had to close off a corner of one of the big amusement park called Valley Fair here because 3 of the rides, you'd be standing in water to be in line. Hello, Tyre Alexander, Anonymity T2. I'll be back. No, this is round 4 T2. This is the fourth time's a charm. And I'm hoping that it sticks. I reinstalled the driver again for my GPU. It seems to be temporarily working, I guess, but then yesterday, I did that yesterday and it worked for the entire show and then it didn't work anymore. So I don't know what's going on. We'll just figure it. Down in Shakopee, yes, you're exactly right, Justin. And in fact, we were, Lady Boomer and I drove down to, we were in Cannon Falls. We were in, what's that town just south of Cannon Falls that has the wooden bridge? I can't remember the name of the town. And we were in Lanesboro. We were in a bunch of river towns just seeing the water levels in all these different towns this last weekend. And Cannon Falls, it's usually a trickle because it's not really a falls. It's just kind of a little rapids that go through the town. And that was actually looking like a waterfall. And the river was up over like the Veterans Memorial Park. And then we went to Stillwater and the water was above all of the walking paths that are along the river. And they had, in fact, we ate at a restaurant that was sandbagged off and you sat on the patio and the patio, the water was all the way up to the deck of the patio. So anyway, we went to all these places where the water was up and it's been crazy. So anyway, Good Logic had his primary hard drive fail on him Monday night midstream. Yeah, I've been having major problems. So it may be time for a major computer upgrade. I keep saying I just don't have the money to do it right now. So we'll just deal with it eventually. So anyway, back to what I was talking about. And by the way, the Democrats are going to start throwing everything they can at the wall. I noticed today that Epstein is trending. Apparently, now they've found something that ties Trump's to Epstein, saying something about the book's claim. First of all, there's a book that claims that he and Ghislaine Maxwell are part of Mossad, and they filmed U.S. politicians and power players having sex with underage girls to blackmail them. And then there's supposedly, what's this say? Release of new footage inside there. It says Donald Trump named in latest Epstein documents. Sarah Ransom said he had sex with many girls in email, where she also claimed pedophile had tapes of the ex-president, Richard Branson, Prince Andrew, and Bill Clinton. Now, if it's true, then he can go on the list of all the people who need to be have a visit from law enforcement. But the problem with that is if this were something that actually happened, and that they would have leaked this a long time ago. So again, this is some election year. Look, this whole election season is a list of children's stories. Okay. And when I say a list of children's stories, like I said, the one is the emperor has no clothes, because everyone trying to convince us that Joe Biden is loose and sharp and on top of things, behind the scenes. And then you see multiple incidents where he's just clueless, lost, decrepit, and being led around by his nose. That's kind of the theme of The Emperor Has No Clothes, right? The emperor walks around and he's wearing this regal, regal clothing, whatever, and he's actually naked. And everyone sees it, and the media is trying to gaslight you into believing that it's not true. Well, they couldn't do it after that 90-minute debate. So they all kind of turned on him, and then the White House sent out some talking points, and oh my gosh, every single one of them picked up the talking points. But I think the Democrats' strategy here is now they're going to just pretend that they're going to keep Joe Biden on the ticket And now that donors are saying, what the hell is going on here? They're behind the scenes, they're furiously paddling. They're trying to go duck theory. Have you ever heard of duck theory? Like when you work in restaurants, okay? When you see a duck on the water and the duck on the water is just smoothly gliding along, right? And underneath the water, their flippers are paddling furiously. Well, that's what they're trying to convey with this whole thing on whether or not they're going to replace Biden. And the problem is their bullpen leaves something to be desired. Obviously they say Gavin Newsom, California's a shithole. It's the worst state in the country right now. I mean, they don't believe it because, when you live someplace, you're like, okay, I live here. I can deal with it. But they've got so many problems, and some of the laws that they've passed, nobody wants passed in the rest of the country. There's Kamala Harris, who nobody likes, who is trying to rely on code switching to get some black support. Oh, by the way, I said that yesterday. Oh, Cannon Hotep, what's up? And Maddie's in the house. Nice to see you. And Selecta Boy's in the house. I'm not playing any tunes today. But by the way, I said yesterday, one of the problems with this whole thing of replacing Biden, they're looking at people other than Kamala Harris. And there's a constituency that the Democrats really, really rely on, that if you pick anyone but Kamala Harris, they're not going to come out and support it. And that'd be black women. Black women are, there's been warnings. In fact, let me see if I can find that article. I'm just going to go ahead and find some of these articles. Because, where is it? Where's the Kamala Harris one? Oh, shoot. I can't find it. But yeah, there's already people saying if you look at anyone, especially if it's somebody white, if it's a white male.
You're fucking a white male!
There's some people going to raise some holy hell about this. Here it is. By the way, 25 House Democrats prepare to call for Biden to end his run. Let me go through some of these headlines because I like I said, I have limited time today. Looks like everything reset though. I'm glad about that. Hello, Gunfox. How you doing? Feds kills Marty's PC. Yeah, they kind of have. Anyway, let's just go through some of these the headlines I was going to go through today, but we're going to just keep it short and give some. There's going to be a lot of quick hits here. So first of all, Biden's address on SCOTUS immunity ruling gets mocked across the political spectrum. So he made that little 4-minute speech or 5-minute speech, and then he walked away. He read off the teleprompter for 5 minutes. So the people who are handling Joe Biden are doing a terrible job. We all know that. That's the first line of this article. On Monday evening, he gave a televised statement on the Supreme Court immunity ruling, and the optics were terrible. Biden looked and sounded awful. The substance of the statement was also nonsensical. Yeah, it was full of lies. It was full of bullshit. Biden slams SCOTUS presidential immunity ruling, ignores questions about dropping out. President Biden slammed the Supreme Court's ruling on presidential immunity written Trump versus United States, saying it means there are virtually no limits on what a president can do. Now that in itself is straight nonsense. Okay, it only said they have immunity for the official duties that they do. It doesn't mean that you can just go out and start doing stupid shit. It's not like blanket immunity for anything he does. And in fact, in the entire ruling by the Supreme Court specifically talked about it being this is a limited type of immunity. You know, so and some of the ideas that people are coming out. Oh, he could go out and murder his opponent. No, he can't. He can declare that you cannot run for president if you have a felony. No, he can't. Those are not the official duties of the president. They cannot change the Constitution willy-nilly. There's already a process in the Constitution for changing it. The president spoke for less than 5 minutes, 4 minutes, around 40 seconds to be exact, before turning his back to the press and walking away. This is fundamentally a new principle, and it's a dangerous precedent, because power of the office will no longer be constrained by the law, even including the Supreme Court of the United States. So now the Supreme Court ruled that the former president has substantial immunity from prosecution for official acts committed while in office, but not for unofficial acts. Biden continued his address saying that the American people must decide whether Donald Trump's assault on our democracy on January 6th makes him unfit for public office in the highest land. So now they're running on January 6th, and then they're also running on what's called Project 25, which I'll get to in a second. Biden continued his address. The American people must decide if Trump's embrace of violence. Stop. No, Trump did not embrace violence to preserve its power. That's the quote. Perhaps most importantly, the American people must decide if they want to entrust the presidency to Donald Trump once again, not now knowing he'll be more emboldened to do whatever he pleases whenever he wants to. That's bullshit. It's all bullshit. But anyway, he trashed the Supreme Court, and then with the pre-written marks, and then he waddles away without taking any questions. So a lot of people posted this video. He just walks away.
What makes you so confident you should be the president?
What advice did you grant to the president?
Okay, so it's supposedly a press conference, but he just walks away. He just walks away. And he made it 4 minutes, 4 seconds. So anyway, a lot of people are posting the same shit. Oh, by the way, he had this weird, he had the weird spray tan on. He looked just as orange as Donald Trump, except they missed a bunch of spots. That was weird. So anyway, so that was that. Also, let's see, what else did I have here? Oh, by the way, and Judge Merchan in the New York case has moved Trump's sentencing to September 18th. Now, I didn't hear this. I didn't hear about this until late in the day yesterday, and I had an exchange with a family member who was just up in arms because, oh my gosh, he's gonna be king now, and he can do this, he can do whatever he wants, which is not true. And I've gone through the actual Supreme Court rulings and the concurring opinions and the dissents. And no, there's nowhere it says he could do whatever he wants. He could be a king, he can change laws or whatever. But he did it, and I said, yeah, shouldn't affect the New York case at all. But then I realized late in the day, oh yeah, it could, because in that case, they used some evidence in that case that should not have been allowed to be presented regarding things that he was doing in his official capacity that had nothing to do with these alleged business records fraud or whatever you want to call it. So anyway, Judge Merchan scheduled Trump's sentencing for September 18th. He said he would rule on the impact of SCOTUS immunity ruling on the case on September 6th. So that's from what it was supposed to be like 8 days from now. Now they moved it to September. So that case, he's not going to do his... Now look, I don't think Judge Merchan is going to change anything, and I think he moved it to September so he can jail Trump in September, right towards the end of campaigning. Anyway, Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg's office agreed to delay former President Donald Trump's July 11th sentencing for the hush money case. Judge Merchan will have the final say. Trump asked Judge Merchan to review the SCOTUS decision on presidential immunity and its impact on the case, although the Manhattan case does not center on Mr. Trump's presidency or official acts, but rather on personal activity during his campaign. His lawyers argued Monday that prosecutors had built their case partly on evidence from his time in the White House. And under the Supreme Court's new ruling, prosecutors not only cannot charge a president for official acts, but also cannot cite evidence involving official acts to bolster other accusations. In a letter to the judge who presided over the trial, Merchan, Trump's lawyers argued that the conviction should be set aside. They also asked Justice Merchan to postpone sentencing while he considered their request, which he has agreed to. And in fact, not only agreed to, but gone far beyond the time frame that they asked for. Now, Trump's lawyers wrote at trial and during summation, DA and I, the district attorney in New York, placed highly prejudicial emphasis on official acts evidence, including witness testimony regarding events in the Oval Office that the district attorney of New York described as devastating, social media posts during Trump's first term, and toll records reflecting calls involving President Trump while he was in office in 2017, which, look, when they say that even his social media posting, he was posting as the president of the United States, and they use that as evidence. So they're saying, well, you've used all this evidence. And in fact, they brought up objections to this during the trial several times, that they were using, privileged information from when he was in the White House, whatever. And they said that, they'd asked for a postponement on this case because of that immunity ruling that was coming to the Supreme Court. During this case, the Supreme Court was deliberating on this immunity thing. So they had asked several times at several points during this trial, hey, look, this is going to determine whether or not the presidential immunity is going to apply. And hang on, I got to stop right there. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our first donor of the day. Thank you, Justin Wright. And you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day and the most patriotic. Hang on a second. The most patriotic donation possible on this show today and this week with the 17 and 76. Thank you. Just Wright says, couple random picks, share or don't, because yes, I'm very bored. Okay, let me do this, Justin. I'm gonna just do that, and I'm gonna try my best to put these out here. Let's see what we got here. Thank you, Justin Wright. Oh well. You put a 1776 up there. I am going to show the pictures. This one Justin shared with me is, let's see if I can make this fit in a proper way. Let's see. How do I do this? Maybe if I just go, let's try. Nope, that ain't going to work. Is that going to work? There we go. The first one is, now I'm not going to read it, but I am going to show it to you briefly. And thank you. Wait, link sharing is on. How do you, oh, is there a way to, oh, there we go. Let's go center that. There we go. I can't read it, but I'll put it up here, okay? Because I don't know, the powers that be at YouTube may not like me saying this out loud. Yeah, okay, I got that one. That's that. Okay, everyone sees that. I give me a second to see it, and then let me go to the next one here. I'm going to do this very carefully. This one, I'm trying to shoot. What? Okay, which setting? Oh, you got to click it. There we go. You got to click it before you tick it. And then this one, okay, there we go. This is killing a spider. I tried a shoe first, but when the spider threw my shoe back at me, this was my only option. So see, there's a reason why. There's absolutely a reason why we have the Second Amendment, just in case you have some extra dangerous spiders. Okay, thank you, Justin Wright. I appreciate that. All right, so anyway, how much? Oh my gosh, I'm out of time already. This sucks. This day has just been terrible. But we're gonna just go through some of the headlines of the articles that I do have up, and there you go. So this is an interesting question in Issues and Insights here. Did the Supreme Court just throw Joe Biden a lifeline? Well, Joe certainly thinks so, because look, he is going to now use this as a campaign item. This immunity ruling. In his remarks following the Supreme Court's decision on presidential immunity, President Joe Biden pretended to be mortified by it. But there's a reason Biden seemed so energetic and focused Monday night. Well, one, he was reading a teleprompter, so he didn't have to ask it, and he didn't have to take any questions. The court might just have done him and his re-election campaign a huge favor. At least Biden thinks so. In his very brief remarks, Biden called the ruling a dangerous precedent. He said it continues to the court's attack on a wide range of long-established legal principles. Well, it doesn't. That whole presidential immunity has always been assumed in the past, but whatever. And he quoted Justice Sonia Sotomayor's inflammatory opinion, which said, "With fear for our democracy, I dissent." Oh my gosh. She got really dramatic on that, by the way. And she's the one who brought up the idea that the president could now just go out and have SEAL Team 6 assassinate people, which is ridiculous. Okay, that would be an unlawful order. That would be definitely an article of impeachment item. And certainly it's not under the constitutional duties of the president of the United States to murder his opponents. Okay. Also, the idea that the president can become a dictator from this whole ordeal is nonsense, because the president has no ability to unilaterally rewrite the Constitution. See, we do have other checks and balances on presidential power. And certainly impeachment and a trial after impeachment would be probably something if the president did something completely illegal, like murder his opponent, through so-called unofficial acts or whatever. So it's not like it's blanket immunity. It's just, it's crazy. Anyway, so Biden thinks this is going to be his next campaign. This is good for his campaign because he can try to scare people and thinking, "No, I'm the only one who can save the day." And we were gonna go through that speech today, but obviously my frame is limited. Now, other news: Giuliani has been disbarred in New York as the court finds he repeatedly lied about Trump's 2020 election loss. Yeah, that was inevitable because New York hates Trump, and it's New York. It's fucking New York. What are you good? So the fall of Rudy Giuliani is being exacerbated. New York Appeals Court in Manhattan ruled that Giuliani, who had already had his New York law license suspended in 2021 for false statements he made after the election, is now disbarred from practice of law, effective immediately until the further order of the court, and his name stricken from the roll of attorneys and counselors at law in the state of New York. Giuliani's attorney, Arthur Ayadala, said they were obviously disappointed but not surprised by the decision. Yeah, because it's fucking New York, okay? Other news, Tulsi Gabbard says the deep state will do all they can to destroy Trump. You know what? I'm telling you, they're coming up with stuff. All of a sudden there's new evidence from the Epstein case that said Donald Trump was scheduling massages with Epstein's, girls. Here's the problem with that story. And I mentioned children's stories before. Okay, so we've already had The Emperor Has No Clothes. Well, now any story that comes out about Donald Trump, because there have been several. There have been dozens. In fact, his entire presidency was all these stories that they said this happened, and then you find out later that it didn't happen. Well, this reminds me of the story, The Boy Who Cried Wolf. Okay? Democrats have been crying wolf on Donald Trump since the day he came down the great golden elevator of Trump Tower saying that he's going to run for president. They've been crying wolf and they've paid foreign spies to come up with bullshit that found out it wasn't true. They tell stories about him trying to kill fish by feeding him too much food, which was bullshit. They talk about the very fine people that he said called neo-Nazis and KKK members very fine people, which was bullshit. All kinds of stuff that they've constantly put out there. So now you have another story. All of a sudden, all this time they've been talking about Epstein, and now they finally got a new book and all this other stuff that says, oh my gosh, Donald Trump was having massages from Epstein's, girls. Okay, if it is true and we find out it's true, fuck Donald Trump. But you know what? I'm not going to believe it until they prove it now, because now you just make an accusation of all kinds of shit. I mean, E. Jean Carroll, her case. we know it's bullshit because if you read the description of what she said happened, it would be physically impossible for most people, unless, of course, maybe if you're long Nong Silver. But it's the boy who cried wolf. And so now this story, again, every story they come up with could eventually be shown to be true, but nobody's going to believe it until you prove it. The FBI and the CIA are pretty good at making up fake shit. So I don't trust any of these motherfuckers right now. There you go. So anyway, she's the former Congresswoman, Tulsi Gabbard. She appeared on the Ingram Angle with guest host Jason Chaffetz to discuss the recent push from some in the Democratic Party to replace President Joe Biden as their nominee following the first presidential debate. And then somewhere along the line, they got talking about Trump and talking about how they'll do anything to fuck up his campaign too. So anyway, that shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. In the Daily Wire, judge denies Biden attempt to lock up a peaceful pro-life protester. So this is interesting. Remember Paul Vaughn? We talked about him a while back. Pro-lifer Father 11 escaped prison time Tuesday after he was sentenced in Nashville over his participation in a peaceful protest at a Tennessee abortion facility in 2021. The Biden administration asked for 1 year prison time for this man for praying in front of an abortion clinic. But U.S. District Judge Aleda Trauger decided to impose no prison time or fine, sentencing Vaughn to 3 years supervised release. Vaughn was convicted of violating the FACE Act and in participating in a conspiracy against rights, which that's a whole other thing. A conspiracy against rights. That's an interesting legal phrase. That's just weird. Anyway, he's not going to face jail time. The government wanted him in jail for a year for protesting at an abortion clinic. Now, it's interesting because I don't know if the federal government asked for any jail time for any of the fuckwads who were holding siege at the government building in, was it Seattle or Portland? It was Portland. Remember the federal court in Portland that they surrounded and for weeks were trying to burn it down. Did they arrest anybody there? Nah. Of course, that was during Trump's administration. Maybe it's Trump's fault. Maybe it's Trump's that's not following law and order. In the National Pulse, which is I don't even know how to describe this outlet. Nope, that didn't work. Let's try this. There we go. Rachel Maddow. And this is one of those talking points about this ruling with the Supreme Court. Rachel Maddow says the Supreme Court has authorized Trump's death squads. Now, let's see. Do we have the clip here? Yeah, how long is this? This might be too long. No, it's 10 minutes long. We're not doing it. We'll just read this real quick because this one is hilarious. And she's lost her mind. And a lot of the people on the left have lost their mind over this ruling because they didn't read it. They're only hearing people like Rachel Maddow talk about it. And there's people, but now, to MSNBC's credit, they have actually had some people trying to tamp down this nonsense and showing that this is actually just this should be a nothing burger ruling, that it should be just normal. It's been normal ever since the country started. But Rachel Maddow of the MSNBC host and arch Russiagate conspiracist is claiming the Supreme Court has authorized Donald Trump to send right-wing death squads after his opponents with its ruling on presidential immunity. Quote, Donald Trump and his counsel asked for this 100% absolute immunity thing, which was insane. I would say they got 105% of what they were asking for. That's a lie. Why is there a moth in here? That's a complete lie. She said the ruling, which guts the lawfare prosecutions Joe Biden's Justice Department is bringing against America's first leader. That's the opinion of the National Pulse. Quote, this is a death squad ruling, Maddow alleged. This is a ruling that says as long as you can construe it as an official or quasi-official act, you can do absolutely anything, and will never be held accountable, not only while you are president, but forever, she added, claiming Trump has previously activated pro-Trump paramilitary troops. That is bonkers. She concluded, if you have somebody who is a criminal or is an authoritarian minded, when they get in there armed with this ruling, there's nothing they cannot do. Well, no, you still have to be within the confines of the Constitution, and there's still checks and balances in the legislative and judicial branch. And look, that's what impeachment's for. That's what impeachment's for. Just charge him and judge him. Never mind. I'm not going to sing that shit. But if you want to watch the whole segment, it is in the article here. In the Federalist, how Biden's mental decline went from misinformation to a fact in a week. Remember, they had Carl Bernstein, that relic, talking about how, we've known this for a year. There's people behind the scenes who've known that Joe Biden is slowing down and he's having trouble, blah, blah. Really? Why haven't you told us this, motherfuckers? You haven't told us this? So anyway, you can check that one out. American Greatness. Oops, what's that? They decided to fact check the fact-checking New York Times. So I'll give you an example, and you can read the rest yourself. Trump said, but Social Security, he's destroying it because millions of people are pouring into our country and they're putting them on Social Security. Now, the Times said Mr. Trump has this backwards. Undocumented workers often pay taxes that help fund Social Security, but as the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office once noted, most unauthorized immigrants are prohibited from receiving many of the benefits that the federal government provides through Social Security and such need-based programs as food stamps, Medicaid, other emergency services, and temporary assistance for needy families. Well, that's funny because they're putting a bunch of them up in friggin' hotels and feeding them on our dime. But anyway, here's the facts. Biden has repeatedly pushed for giving illegal immigrants a pathway to citizenship, including a plan that and proposed legislation to provide up to 11 million illegal immigrants with U.S. citizenship and an executive order providing a pathway to citizenship for more than 500,000 undocumented spouses of U.S. citizens. Biden has specifically claimed that illegal immigrants have increased the lifespan of Social Security because they have a job, they're paying Social Security tax. Now, according to the Center for Immigration Studies, illegal immigration unambiguously benefits the Social Security and Medicare trust funds. However, amnesty legalization will reverse those gains and add extra cost. Oh, shocker. Also, they note that illegal immigrants tend to earn less and work fewer years in the U.S. than the average participant. And if 10 million illegal immigrants receive amnesty, the total cost to Social Security and Medicare would be roughly $1.3 trillion, equivalent to a one-time transfer of 6% of the GDP. Yes, because, again, and it's not just young people, although it's mostly military-age males across the border. But anyway, you give amnesty to them. They don't work in the United States as long. And then you give them benefits as soon as they're eligible. Well, yeah, there's going to be a net loss on that. Anyway, also Nancy Pelosi, they've claimed that his claim about Nancy Pelosi's responsibility for January 6th. Now, Trump worded that very poorly in the debate, by the way. And she didn't say, when she made that quote, she wasn't quoting the idea that she was responsible for January 6th. She was responsible for security on January 6th. So he clumsily said it. But she did admit it. The facts are, the video filmed by Pelosi's daughter, Pelosi responding to someone who said the Capitol Police thought they had sufficient resources, says they clearly didn't know it. I take responsibility for not having them prepare for me because it's stupid because we're in a situation like this. Anyway, she did make a claim of sorts. Donald Trump kind of, as Donald Trump language often blunders certain things or gets things a little exaggerated. He didn't make that the most clear thing. Anyway, now, unfortunately, oh, by the way, the luggage stealing guy, the cross-dressing dude that was stealing luggage, well, apparently he's not going to go to jail. Sam Britton is a free man. The disgraced former Department of Energy official pleaded guilty to petty larceny as part of a sweetheart deal that will see him serve no jail time after facing felony charges that carried a sentence up to 20 years. So he got caught He's been prosecuted 3 times for stealing people's luggage in airports. And each of those times, he's gotten off, well, I shouldn't use that phrase about that weirdo. He got off with no jail time. 3 times he's done it, and no one's going to sentence him. So if you want to read the details in this article. Legal insurrection. California Democrats try to salvage law that weakened the property crime penalties. So anyway, right now, California Democrats are experimenting with a senseless policy. California Democrats experimenting with a senseless policy continues unabated. They want to weaken a measure that would reform Proposition 47, which weakened property crime penalties. In 2014, voters in the state were persuaded to approve Proposition 47, which reduced certain property crimes from felonies to misdemeanors, provided that stolen goods weren't worth more than $950. Subsequently, smash and grab crimes and shoplifting have become rampant in the state. One recent and dramatic incident involved 20 people who surged into a California jewelry store and stole as much as they could in less than 3 minutes. Okay. Well, last month, a strong Proposition 47 reform measure was approved for the November ballot, and the new rule said it gives judges the option with drug sentencing to either send dealers to state prison instead of county jail when they are convicted of trafficking in large quantities, requires court to provide formal warning to convicted fentanyl and other hard drug dealers and manufacturers that they could face murder charges if they do it again and someone dies. This is also known as Alexander's Law. Enhances penalties for those who deal hard. What does this have to do with the... wait a minute, what? Oh, an offender with 2 prior convictions for theft can face felony regardless of the value of the stolen property. So that would change that $950 rule. It also enhances the penalties for those who steal more than $50,000 of stuff. And then it adds new laws to address the smash and grab thefts that result in significant loss or damage that are committed by one or multiple criminals working together. However, California Democrats are attempting to salvage their senseless Proposition 47 policies by creating an alternative ballot measure that is substantially weaker. So they don't want to change the law that's caused all these smash and grabs and the massive property theft that's going on in California. Now remember, we're supposed to believe that crime has gone down in this country and different places of the world. Well, the reason it's gone down because no one's prosecuting anyone who steals under $950 worth of stuff in California, and they're not reporting it. So, California Democrats are nuts, and nobody wants Gavin Newsom to be the president of the United States, except for Californians Democrats. I don't know, but he's a slick talker. You got to watch out because that's who they're going to replace Biden with. Let's see. Oh, by the way, ex-FBI counsel behind Russiagate, Biden laptop censorship, now part of left-wing election network. Who is this? Oh, James Baker. Not the good James Baker, the bad James Baker. He's now part of the left-wing election network. Let's see. We're going to skip that one. Oh, Representative Lloyd Doggett has become the first sitting Democrat to call for Biden to withdraw from the race. He's a Democrat from Texas, called for Joe Biden to step down from his campaign for re-election. Doggett announcement followed a horrendous debate performance from Biden, universally panned by media and voters. He's the first, but it looks like there might be a coalition of 25 more about to do the same. Now, it's interesting because they're starting to lose some donors too. I already mentioned that earlier, but here we go. 25 House Democrats reportedly preparing to call for Biden to end his re-election effort. The dam has now broken. Well, Lloyd Doggett was that first hole in the dike, and there's not enough fingers to fill that hole. Sounds like Stormy Daniels. Anyway, President Biden may soon face increased pressure from Democrats in Congress to drop out of the 2024 race. According to a report, at least 25 House Democrats are preparing to call for the 81-year-old president to end his re-election bid in the wake of his disastrous debate against former President Donald Trump. Here we go. You know what? The problem is they're jumping the gun. I think the powers that be in the Democratic Party wanted to wait. Know what I'm saying? Also, Senator Tammy Baldwin will not campaign with President Joe Biden when he visits Wisconsin on Friday. He's going to be in Wisconsin Friday. And it's the latest example of vulnerable Democratic candidates distancing themselves from the president. So, look, Tammy Baldwin excites nobody in Wisconsin, even though she's the senator. And Wisconsin is starting to, especially rural Wisconsin. I was just in rural Wisconsin, and there are a lot of Trump signs in rural Wisconsin. I'll tell you what, we're driving down some 2-lane highways through near Ellsworth, the cheese curd factory of the world, and there were quite a few Trump signs. It's funny, and then we were driving through some rural Minnesota towns too, and it's Trump everywhere. So anyway, she does not want to have her face seen with with Sundowner Joe, so she's not going to campaign with him when he shows up on Friday. Front Page Magazine. Dems plot to rush through Biden nomination this month. So while some Democrats are saying it's time for the old man to drop out of the race, other Democrats are trying to rush through the nomination. There's no vote of confidence like rushing through a nomination of your own party's nominee well ahead of schedule. After he spent the first debate slurring nonsense back in May, the DNC, by a Biden operation, was going to move to a virtual roll call before the convention, supposedly to deal with the Ohio ballot deadline, but really to head off a convention battle. Now they're talking about rushing through a virtual roll call in July. The DNC is eyeing July 21st as the potential date to formally nominate Biden, according to Bloomberg, which cited people familiar with the matter. The DNC has already planned on nominating Biden through an electronic vote prior to the in-person Democratic National Convention, which starts August 19th in Chicago. Oh my God. Can you imagine if the Democrats pull that bullshit, what the convention in August is going to be like? Holy moly. I'm sorry. I got to translate that for those of you in everywhere but Minnesota. Holy shit. And they kind of played this game with Hillary Clinton, right? Back when Bernie was running, the DNC did some shenanigans. That was what the whole Julian Assange thing was about, pretty much. It wasn't about secrets of America's secrets. They didn't give a fuck about America's secrets. The reason the Democrats wanted Julian Assange prosecuted was because he leaked their shit. Okay, let's not even pretend anything otherwise. By the way, Jake Tapper, they made this sentence too long. They should have stopped at blows. But anyway, Jake Tapper blows whistle on private meeting Democratic governors held about Joe Biden. The Democratic governors had a meeting. In a lot of ways, it feels like we're witnessing an unraveling of the Biden campaign. The campaign is clearly in chaos right now. And for some reason, the White House thought that rolling Biden out of bed at 7:45 p.m. and giving him a spray tan so he could speak for all of 4 minutes would somehow solve their problems. It didn't. And the concern of Democrats about the future of Biden's campaign isn't going away. Now the Biden campaign has another problem to deal with. Jake Tapper reported on X that Democratic governors recently held a private call expressing concerns about President Biden's handling of current issues. The call, which Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota organized. Oh my gosh! Is he going to try to run for president? God, I hope not. He's so terrible. I want him gone. Anyway, organized included only Democratic governors without any staff or representatives from the Biden campaign or the White House present. Oh, it's a secret meeting. A secret Zoom call or some shit. During this real-life Council of Elrond, I got to look that up what that means. That's got to be like some Caesar shit. The governors discussed their surprise at not hearing directly from Biden and expressed a desire for communication from him on or his administration. They are seeking a meeting with Biden either at the White House or via Zoom, though nothing has been scheduled yet. The governors emphasized their need to hear directly from Biden amid growing concerns. Anyway, so they had Jake Tapper probably is going to get in trouble for that one because he's not supposed to expose things that the Democrats don't want exposed. But on the call, some of the governors expressed surprise how few of them had not heard from Biden himself about his debate performance. There was a strong sentiment on the call that they needed to hear from him. There was also some discussion of having Vice President Kamala Harris address them. The governors, one of the sources said, were worried about going public with their concern out of fear that it would lead to Biden digging in further. Plans for the meeting at the White House are underway, but it has not been scheduled. The White House is eyeing a meeting with Democratic governors on Wednesday. A source familiar with the matter says the meeting at the White House would likely include a mix of in-person and virtual attendance. Biden's advisors are also discussing the possibility of having the president travel to Wisconsin on Friday, which he is, and Pennsylvania on Sunday. Biden's shaky debate performance last Thursday roiled some of the largest donors and sent Democrats into a panic. So there you go. Oh, is that a Lord of the Ring reference? Okay, I didn't know that. I'm not real up on Lord of the Rings. So anyway, yeah, so the Democratic governors are panicking. All the Democrats are panicking. And I know that the DNC or somebody in the, Obama circle or whatever who runs the Democratic Party and the White House are heavy-duty discussions on whether or not they're going to dump Joe. Or how they're going to, not when, how. All right. Here's the article I was talking about. Okay, I'm going to finish with this. We gonna blow the party up. Delegate warns black women will destroy Democrats if they choose a white man.
You're fucking a white male!
Over Kamala. Now, this is what I was talking about earlier. A delegate for President Joe Biden's reelection effort warned on Monday that black women will abandon the party if Democrats replace the presumptive nominee with another white man instead of Vice President Kamala Harris, who is not black. Biden spoke with a raspy voice and trailed off during the Thursday debate with former President Donald Trump, leading Americans to express concern about his age and fitness for another 4 years as president. Areva Martin, an attorney and California delegate for Biden for president, said on the Stephen A. Smith show that Democrats should stay the course with the president and that passing over Harris with a white man
You're fucking a white male!
would be a deal breaker with black female voters. Oh.
Do you love white people?
First of all, Stephen, wait, how long is this a
First of all,
okay, this is a manageable clip. We're gonna finish with this today and then I gotta go. Here's what delegate what's her name? Areva Martin. Okay, here's what she's got to say. And I guarantee you she's 100% correct at whatever she says here. Except for that Biden's viable.
Stephen, who are we agreeing? There's a long list of Democrats: Kamala Harris, Gavin Newsom, Gretchen Whitmer. The list goes on and on and on. You've named 4 or 5 people. Where is their consensus? You've got to build consensus, and there is not consensus right now. If you pick a white man over Kamala Harris, black women, I can tell you this: we're gonna walk away. We're gonna blow the party up. If you pick the black woman,
Who you gonna walk away to, Areva? Where you gonna walk away to? You gonna walk away? You ain't gonna walk away to Trump?
Over Kamala Harris. So where are we getting agreement from on who this ideal Democratic candidate should be? Tell me that. Nobody's told me who it should be. And then tell me how you're going to get the 4,000 delegates, which I am one of them. I'm a delegate coming from California. So who's going to step out? One, tell Joe Biden you got to step aside. Because everybody's not being mature about this process. Joe Biden is. He's super duper mature. He's so mature that he's almost dust. Anyway. Not just the president. There's a whole team of people. There's an administration. So if Joe Biden, when he gets reelected, which my prediction is that he will, he brings with him. Oh, that's right. You're from California, though. So you are in the ultimate of echo chambers. Kamala Harris, the most diverse administration in the history of this country. Nobody cares. And what has that gotten us? If it's diverse and it works, fan-fucking-tastic. But the fact that it's diverse means shit to me. Okay? I want shit to work, and this administration ain't working. Diversity happens naturally. When diversity happens naturally, I'm all good with it. But it better be working. Okay? Sorry, I don't give a shit about that. stay the course. We got more black judges appointed under Joe Biden than anyone, even President Barack Obama.
So
that is not the point, because we're not, once again, hold on, Reva. We are not.
I don't know anything about sports, but I know you don't give up on your star player in the middle of a game.
Okay, excuse me, time out.
Star player. What if your star player breaks his leg? Or in this case, what if your star player has a permanent concussion? You go kill that man.
Time out. Let me explain to you. I can give you a host of examples of when teams have given up on a star player that has gotten a bit too old and beyond his prime. It happens in sports all the time, not just with coaches, but also with not just with players, but also with coaches and also with executives. That's absolutely not true.
Right?
Can you tell me why every Democratic primary that has taken place between the time Democratic primary started this year until today, Joe Biden has won those primaries?
Because he's the only fucking candidate. Oh my God, that's the dumbest fucking question you could have come up with. Nobody. He's the incumbent president. Holy shit!
If all of these Democrats wanted someone other than Joe Biden to be,
they were kept in the dark about the fact that Biden's sundowning. Oh my God.
On the ballot in 2024, they had an opportunity before June of 2024 to make that a reality. And
oh my God, most of y'all just figured out with that debate that what they've been hiding from you. If you had that debate in December of 2023, not a single Joe Biden would have won a single primary. He'd have had competitors out there up in his ass. Sorry, that's the dumbest thing I've heard in this. Okay, I'm done listening to her. I got to go anyway. Thank you, Avocados Diablo, sponsor show. You are awesome. Small blow in the tip jar, who says, I have a bone to pick with your computer. Because of it, I decided to go mow near heat stroke and heart attack, and I'm back. Well, gosh darn it. Get a cool glass of water, a cold towel, put it on your forehead, and take care of yourself, brother. Come on. I need you. All right, guys, that's it. I got to go. Thanks for joining me today and for your immense patience. Thanks to our sponsors, Justin Wright and Avocados Diablo. I might stream again this afternoon just to make up for this bullshit. But I'm out of time. So, you guys, I'm going to go. I'll drop these links that I was going to drop anyway. And they'll be in the description. I'm not going to put it in the chat because I'm really behind time here. So, thank you. I got to go. My name's P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye. Bye. Have a wonderful day. Boom. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and thanks for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.